We've got a lot of information to cover that's coming in this next update. We're going to start with 84 balance changes. Then we'll cover every single one of the new hypercharges, ranked star drop rewards, and all of the new animations and costs for these sweet new skins. Plus, look at her hair. It moves. You can just like wiggle it around. Doug is getting a pretty sizable buff. In the past, his attack damage scales and his healing scales depending on how close the target is to Doug. After the update though, his damage and healing will always be maxed even if you're just barely within his range. Griff is getting 3 buffs. First up is an 8% buff to his attack damage, and this is actually a really good buff for Griff. Additionally though, his supercharge rate is slightly increasing, not by much, but he'll be able to charge a super just a bit more frequently. Additionally, his Piggy Bank gadgets damage is increasing from 1,300 to 1,400 damage. The big change here though is Griff's attack damage. He's now going to be able to one-shot the squishiest brawlers in the game, including Barley, Bee, Brock, and other brawlers who have 4,800 HP or less. Nita's bear Bruce is getting an 8% buff to his max HP. At max level, it's increasing from 8,000 to 8,600 HP, which is fairly tanky. Otis is getting 2 buffs. His attack damage is increasing by 5%. Now, after the update, he's going to be able to take out 9 of the 76 brawlers in the game with 1 less ammo. Additionally, his fat splatter gadget damage is increasing by 50. Neither of these changes are actually very huge, but it might help him compete just a little bit better. Next, we have Ash, and he's going to get 15% more rage from his basic attacks. This should make it a bit easier for him to increase and maintain his rage without actually having to take so much damage. Ruffs is getting 2 buffs. His attack damage is getting a 7% buff. This is pretty significant as he's going to be able to take out 30 of the 76 brawlers in the game with 1 less ammo now. Additionally, his air support gadgets damage is getting increased from 1,120 to 1,200, which isn't actually a lot, but it will help him a bit. El Primo is getting 3 buffs. His attack damage is increasing by 6%, which isn't insignificant. But the biggest change now is that he's going to be able to take out brawlers with 6,000 HP with only 2 ammo. Those are brawlers like Kit, Jesse, or Grom, and a few others. Now on top of this, his asteroid belt gadgets damage is increasing by 6% to match his attack damage, and his El Fuego star power is also getting a 6% damage buff to match it as well. Now Gale is getting 2 buffs to his super. The damage is increasing by 19%, so at max level it's increasing from 840 damage to 1,000 damage. Now to match this, his super will recharge his super just a bit more as well. Overall, not anything too game-changing for Gale, but it will help in some cases. Barley's super is getting 2 buffs as well. Its damage is increasing by 12%, which is actually quite a bit. At max level, it's increasing from 1,360 damage per second to 1,520 damage per second. Now his super will also recharge his super a bit more with this change as well. Gene is getting 2 buffs. First is a 4% buff to his attack damage. He will now deal 2,000 damage per attack, which won't make a huge difference for Gene in most situations. However, he'll now be able to 3-shot brawlers with 6,000 HP. Those are brawlers like Surge, Sprout, Mr. P, and there are 5 others as well. Now because his Vengeful Spirits gadget scales up with his attack damage, it's also getting the same 4% buff. Penny is also getting 2 buffs. She's getting a 4% buff to her attack damage, and she'll now be able to 3-shot Eve, but other than that, there aren't many other major interaction changes. So this will help her out just a bit. And to match the 4% damage buff to her attack, her Master Blaster gadget damage is also getting the same 4% buff. Next, we have some nerfs, starting with a massive nerf to hypercharges. Attacks and supers will no longer recharge your hypercharge while it is active. That means that you can no longer increase the duration of your hypercharge, even if you're hitting attacks and supers on enemies like crazy. This is going to be pretty impactful and will help balance out the strength of various different hypercharges. For example, brawlers like Colt and Shelly will no longer be able to recycle their hypercharge and keep it up super active for a crazy long time, and they'll be a little bit more balanced compared to brawlers that didn't have hypercharges that you could do that with. Fang is getting 4 nerfs. First of all, his Fresh Kicks star power will no longer charge his hypercharge when his super gets a kill. Second, his hypercharge Popcorn will no longer recharge his super. Additionally, the damage from his hypercharge Popcorn is being cut in half, And the 20% damage buff that he gets while hypercharged is being reduced to a 15% damage buff. This should make Fang's hypercharge way less busted and hopefully balanced. Larry and Laurie are getting 2 nerfs. First of all, their attack range is getting nerfed by 2/3 of a tile. This means their maximum range will reach just as far as Willow's attack can, but it's still 1/3 of a tile further than Barley's attack and 2/3 of a tile further than Dynamike's, just for reference. Now that is a massive change to Larry and Laurie, but they're also getting a massive nerf to their attack damage. It is decreasing by 17%. For reference, any damage buff or nerf that is greater than 10%, I consider to be very impactful. And this is 17%. That is massive because they are now going to require one more hit to take out 82% of the brawlers in the game. And 40% of the brawlers will require a full additional ammo to be taken out. They are getting toned down a lot. Amber is getting a 5% nerf to her attack damage. And to keep things in line, her Dancing Flames gadget is also getting a 5% nerf to its attack damage. Now this isn't a huge change, but it will make her very slightly weaker. Buster is getting a 1% nerf to his attack damage. That's right. 1%, not even 2%, it's 1.4%. It might not sound like much, and it's not, but it does mean that brawlers with 5,600 HP will now require 3 hits from Buster and will no longer be able to be 2-shot. This includes brawlers like Willow, Stu, Rico, Mandy, Ruffs, Colt, Dynamike, and Edgar. Cordelius's jump gadget is no longer going to work in the Shadow Realm, so that's really nice. Pearl's HP is getting nerfed by 7%, which is actually pretty significant. At max level, she's going to have 7,800 HP. Additionally, the stat buffs for her hypercharge are being tweaked. She's going to deal more damage, but her speed and shield values are getting nerfed. Okay, now pretty much every hypercharge in the game is getting rebalanced in some way. I don't want to bore you with all the exact numbers, but I'm going to throw them up on the screen for those of you guys who do care to know, because they're all pretty much like the stat buffs that they get when they're hypercharged. First up is Charlie. And before we get to her hypercharge changes, her super projectile speed is getting nerfed by 21%. As you can see here, it is going to be much slower and quite a bit easier for you to dodge. Additionally, all of Charlie's hypercharge values are getting rebalanced. Her hypercharge charge rate is going up, making it easier to charge her hypercharge. And then her hypercharge damage, speed, and shield are all getting nerfed. Next is Edgar, and his Let's Fly gadget is no longer going to charge his hypercharge, but his hypercharge rate is getting buffed, as well as his hypercharge speed is getting buffed. And then you have his damage and shield, which are getting nerfed while he's hypercharged. Colette is getting a nerf to her hypercharge speed and shield. Then you have Maisie and Lou, who are both getting the same nerfs to their hypercharge speed and shield. Then there's Colt's hypercharge, which is getting nerfed in every way. His hypercharge charge rate is getting nerfed, and so are the stat buffs to his damage, speed, and shield while he's hypercharged. Bull's hypercharge is getting 3 nerfs to his charge rate, to his hypercharge damage, and to his shield while he's hypercharged. Dynamike's hypercharge is getting 3 nerfs to his charge rate, and then to the hypercharge damage and shield. Okay, next are more balance changes to hypercharges. Once again, I'm not going to break down each individual number because most of these changes are really just small tweaks to how the hypercharge will charge. The main trend is that hypercharges that are more impactful, like Shelly's, Jackie's, and Rosa's, are getting their charge rates nerfed, so you won't have them quite as often. Then there are hypercharges that aren't quite as impactful, like Jessie's and Miko's, that are getting their charge rates buffed so that you can use them more frequently. Then you have tanky brawlers like Rosa and Jackie that are having their shields buffed even more, but to counter that, their damage buffs are getting reduced. Then there's squishy brawlers like Spike or Crow that are having their shields nerfed, but their damage buffs are getting increased. Faster brawlers like Crow are getting bigger speed buffs, while slower brawlers like Spike and Jessie are getting nerfs to their speed buffs while hypercharged. The whole point with all these changes is to further strengthen a brawler's strengths while hypercharged and not cover up for their weaknesses so much. Now let's talk about the 6 new hypercharges coming to the game. First up, we have Cordelius's hypercharge is Complete Darkness. Anyone that he hits with his super while he's hypercharged hypercharge will now get slowed down a lot. This lasts the entire time they are in the Shadow Realm, so this is going to be massive for allowing Cordelis to chase enemies down. They're not going to be able to run around walls very well, and also if he just wants to escape, he'll be able to do so. Buzz's new hypercharge is Buzz Watch. During his hypercharge, his super will automatically recharge if he hits a wall or a target. Now keep in mind that if his super misses, it doesn't hit an enemy or a wall, then it will not recharge. Also, activating his hypercharge won't automatically charge his super, so you'll have to wait to activate his hypercharge until after his super is charged. Now, when enemies are hit by this new super, they are stunned like normal. And if Buzz repeatedly supers on them, they will stay stunned, which makes Buzz very deadly with his tougher torpedo star power, which makes the minimum stun duration at least half a second. Because what he can do is just repeatedly alternate between his super and his attack to deal damage while they are permanently stunned. Or he could just spam his super to keep them stunned so that your teammates can deal damage to them. Now, one thing that is super fun is activating Spider Buzz mode, where you can repeatedly swing around the room. This is going to be a very high skill and very fun hypercharge to use. But one thing to note is that Buzz's hypercharge does automatically charge if enemies get within his charging radius, just like his super does. El Primo's hypercharge is Gravity Leap. This hypercharge pulls enemies in toward El Primo when they get hit by his super. In Brawl Talk, they mentioned that it increases the size of his slam, but after testing it, I can confirm that they must have changed that because it does not increase the area of effect for his super. It just pulls enemies in, but that's still a pretty great hypercharge for El Primo. Bell's hypercharge is Magnetic. This makes Bell's super home in on enemies, and honestly, unless you're completely aiming the wrong direction, this makes her super almost impossible to miss. The curve on it is insane. Much more than Piper's gadget. But like Piper's gadget though, it does increase her super range by a fair bit, so keep that in mind. Sprout's hypercharge is Thorns. Any hedge that Sprout creates with his super while hypercharged will now damage anyone who touches it. It deals 500 damage per second, and it looks like it's going to help recharge future hypercharges and supers, though that may get changed. That may be a bug. Keep in mind that the hedge will continue to deal damage until it is replaced or destroyed, even after Sprout's hypercharge runs out. Also, most of the time the wall will actually push enemies out of the range from the hedge, so it's likely they'll take maybe 500 damage, but it'll definitely keep enemies away for sure. BB's hypercharge is Out of Bounds. This causes BB's super bubble to split into two if it hits an opponent. Now keep in mind that the split can only happen once, so she'll only ever have a maximum of 2 bubbles per super, but that just makes it easier for her to summon repeated supers and cover the map with bubbles. Now let's talk about the new ranked mode. You can either go to the ranked mode just by going to the choose event section and selecting it right here, or you can select this button right up at the top and it will allow you to just hit play, which is kind of cool. The short and sweet is that this new ranked mode is replacing Power League. Now you can only play brawlers that are power 9 and above, and along with classic, each season will have 3 modifiers in the modes that will change how you want to draft and how you play. Now the draft is the exact same as it is in Mega Pig up until you reach Diamond. And once you reach Diamond and move up, then it's just like the old Power League was. Now you'll notice here that you can actually collect resources for ranking up. There's an epic star drop for passing bronze, a mythic for passing silver, and for passing gold. Then there's a legendary star drop for passing diamond, mythic, and passing legendary up until you reach masters, where you're just competing for global rankings at that point. Each season is only going to last for 1 month, and it will reset when the new Brawl Pass season starts over. And even if you're all the way up in Masters, every single time you will be reset all the way down to Bronze. But as you can see, this rank boost right here, you'll actually get a boost in the points you earn up until you reach whatever rank you were the previous season. Now, along with those regular star drops, there are also 2 ranked star drops that you can unlock in every single tier. So that's a total of up to 12 ranked star drops that you can get every single month. Now I'm going to open up a bunch of ranked star drops on a brand new account to show you the types of rewards you can get while I talk about ranked matchmaking. The amount of ranked points that you will gain or lose is going to depend on the ranked score of the opponents that you face. So you will gain more points for defeating higher ranked players, and you will lose less if you lose to them. Also, once you reach a new major ranked tier, you cannot get demoted below that. So for example, once you get to Mythic 1, you can't drop down to Mythic Mythic 3, even if you lose. But if you did reach Mythic 2, you could get demoted back to Mythic 1. Now, if you reach Master's rank, which is the very end, you will show up on the global leaderboards for the current season, and you'll be able to see your global rank, which honestly is actually pretty cool. Players can now team up with people or play solo all in the same queue, but you can only team up with players that are within 3 minor ranks as you. So somebody in Gold 1 can play with friends who are in Silver 1 all the way up through Diamond 1. Now, if you end up playing solo against a pre-made team, the matchmaking will adapt to try and make the matchmaking a little bit more balanced. Now, another reward that you can get for ranked is the new background that you can show up on your battle card. Right here is the bronze one. And I'll show all the other ones here while I explain how they work. There are 2 parts to them, okay? There's the background and the frame. Once you unlock a ranked background, you can keep it for 2 seasons. So if you want to keep it, you have to keep playing each season. And your ranked backgrounds can also be upgraded each season you finish in the same rank. They can be upgraded up to 7 times. So there's a reason to reach your best rank each season because it gets cooler and cooler every single time. Now, your frame is going to depend on your current ranked tier. So there is a reason to regain your rank quickly after the reset so that you can flex your current rank on people. Now, if you'd rather not show it, then you can just go ahead and disable it just like that and it won't show. Or you can actually choose to show off your fame background. Reaching new fame ranks now gives special rewards. This includes pins, player icons, and a unique battle card that looks different from every different fame rank. The background will automatically adjust as your fame goes up, and you can either toggle it on or off if you prefer for some reason. And you get to actually choose between showing your fame background, which is kind of like showing your long-term dedication to the game, or you can show your ranked background, which shows how skilled you are at the game. By the way, the 2 new titles are Timeless for the Sands of Time season happening in March and Godlike for the Ragnarok season happening in April. Okay, I just hopped into a trophy escape mode so that you can actually see kind of what this is like, and then we'll talk about all the different skins. So as you can see, as you enter in here, first you start out with -1 trophy, and you'll actually lose trophies if you don't win, right? And then what you try and do is you kill enemies and you kill bots, which there are some bots on the ground that will all drop some trophies. It's important to pick up these power cubes because your opponents do not actually drop power cubes when you kill them. Instead, what they do is they drop those trophies, and those trophies are very important because, oh, I gotta be careful here. They actually determine how many trophies you gain when you end the match. Now you'll notice this portal in the very center. That portal, if somebody stands in there long enough, it will charge up, and if they stay there for the whole duration, then they will be able to escape with the trophies in their hand. If they don't, then they die, they lose their trophies. Now I'll just show you what that's like here. I'm gonna stand right here, and we actually might just both end up leaving here. I'm gonna use my super. Can I heal up? Oh, I'm just gonna die. Come on. Did we both escape? I think we both escaped. We escaped. Okay, cool. So we actually both escaped right there with our trophies in hand. This is a friendly match, so I don't actually get to keep those trophies, but it's a very interesting game mode. And currently, there are 3 maps. There's this one with only 1 escape portal. There's Bounce Bazaar with 2 escape portals, and Circling Sands with 3 escape portals. Okay, let's cover all of the skins, including their animations and all of their gem costs. First up is Shelly Dancer. She's going to be available if you purchase the Sands of Time Brawl Pass in March. If you buy the Brawl Pass Plus, you can also get the Iris and Dahlia skin color variations. Now for her attacks, she fires gems at her enemies, which I can only assume is very expensive, which you'll see that a lot in today's skins. But where things get really expensive are the massive gems she fires out of her gun when she uses her super. Now this is her winning animation. And this is her losing animation. By the way, some of the losing animations may be a little bit bugged in today's video, but they'll all be finished by the time the update actually releases. Dynasty Mike is a ranked skin. So while he's technically considered an epic skin, the only way you'll be able to unlock him is by opening Ranked Starr Drops. During the Sands of Time season in March, he'll have an increased drop rate, so you'll be more likely to unlock him. Now, Dyna also throws gems at his opponents. I don't know where these brawlers are getting so rich. And for a super, he throws a whole treasure chest at enemies filled with both gems, coins, and of course, dynamite. This is his winning animation, and this is what it looks like when he loses. Next is Desert Scorpion Chuck. He is a legendary skin and will cost 299 gems. Now, when you unlock him, you'll get a spray, profile icon, and a bunch of pins just like every other legendary skin in the game. He fires sand at his enemies for his attack, and his train stop now looks like a scorpion claw for his super. Now, as a legendary skin, he has a really cool kill animation as well, which is a scorpion claw coming out from underneath the sand, and this is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Thief Edgar is a mythic skin and will cost 199 gems. But there is a giveaway happening on my Discord server right now, so if you want to go to discord.gg/Kairos, you can have a chance to win it for free. He punches with his magic carpet scarf, which looks pretty cool, and then he has this really cool sandy whirlwind animation when he uses his super. This is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Sir Genie is an epic skin that will cost 149 gems. Surge is now a super cool looking genie wielding an absolutely massive sword. Now for his attacks, he fires genie punches, which actually look pretty cool, and he launches himself into the air with his super genie hand with his super. This is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Now let's cover the Ragnarok skins that will be based off of various gods from Norse mythology. Fenrir Buzz will be available if you purchase the Ragnarok Brawl Pass skin in April. And if you buy the Brawl Pass Plus, you can also get Mörk and Eldre skin color variations. And before you comment on those names sounding weird, I can guarantee that's how you say it because I actually can speak Norwegian. For his attack, he breathes out this really cool icy breath that obviously deals damage. And his super throws this cool sword-like thing and also leaves a trail of ice on the ground, which is just awesome. Here's his winning and losing animation. These are a little bit bugged for right now, but like I said, they'll be fixed by the end when they're released. Next is Loki Chester, which is the ranked skin for the Ragnarok season. And this is technically considered an epic skin. For his attacks, he throws out what looks like stones with Norse runes engraved on them, and his strong mint super looks like this. Here is his Salmiakki super. His Jawbreaker super is actually a really cool looking sword, and he throws a cool looking rune for his Candy Popper super. But it's his Pop Rock super that I think looks the coolest. There's these really cool runes on the ground and frost falling from the sky. Very awesome. This is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Thor BB is a legendary skin that will cost 299 gems, and this is such a cool skin. For her attack, she swings her giant hammer at enemies, and when she defeats them, lightning strikes from above to take them out. So cool. For her super, she throws out her Mjolnir hammer and it spins around as it flies around the map. She also has some custom voice lines, as all legendary skins do as well, which I didn't mention that for Scorpion Chuck, but this is her winning animation. And this is her losing animation. Odin Cordelius is an epic skin that will cost 149 gems. This is a super cool looking skin. Just look how sinister he looks. Oh, it's so great. He fires what look like javelin heads to me at his enemies that look really, really cool. And for a super, he fires the crow on his shoulders to take his enemies to the Shadow Realm for him. I was secretly hoping that the Shadow Realm would be a little bit different with this skin, but it's just the same regular old Shadow Realm, which is plenty shadowy, I guess. This is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Scotty Jesse is a mythic skin that will cost 199 gems. And rightfully so. This is seriously such a good skin for Jesse. And she's one of my favorite brawlers, and she has some fun skins, but I think this is my new favorite for her. For her attack, she fires icy crystals at enemies that look so cool. And her super drops an icy fox on the ground who shoots icy projectiles at enemies. I mean, it just doesn't get much cooler than this. This is her winning animation. And this is her losing animation. Now let's cover the new Line Friend skins that will be released in early March. First up is Colette's Fangirl Coney skin. This is a super rare skin that will cost 79 gems. She's a bunny and she loves her stuffed bear. However, she throws it at enemies when she attacks. So maybe she doesn't love it, I don't know. And this is what her super looks like. The whole bunny coney symbol pops up, it's cool. This is her winning animation. And this is her losing animation. Balloon Sally is a skin for Gus. It is a super rare skin that will cost 79 gems, and it's themed after Line Friend's very own Sally. His attacks are brown bear balloons, and the ghosts that it spawns have Sally's face on them. His super is an even bigger looking version of his normal one, and it seems to be wearing a hat on it. I don't know exactly why, but there you go. Gotta get some Line Friends merch, right? This is the skin's winning animation. And this is its losing animation. Rocket Brown is a skin for Brock, and this is an epic skin that will cost 149 gems. This is the coolest of the three in my opinion. For his attacks, he fires Sally rockets at the enemies that leaves an angry Sally face on the ground, and he fires a ton of little Sally chicks for his super, which is actually kind of fun to watch. Now this is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Now let's cover two new mecha skins, starting with Mecha Colt, and all of these mecha skins will cost 299 gems. And if you want to buy the additional color variations for Colt, that's Paragon Mecha Colt and Renegade Mecha Colt, you will also have to spend an additional 299 gems after you've purchased the Mecha Colt skin, unless that's a bug in the developer build, which I hope it is. I don't know. These are so cool. I love the mecha skins. I mean, look at these sick projectiles from Colt's main attack. Keep in mind that some of the audio effects in my recording aren't completed yet, but they will be finished by the time the skins are released because legendary skins do come with audio effects. His super also looks really crazy cool, and this skin is a massive flex to have. This is his winning animation, and this is his losing animation. Next, we have Mecha Leon, another 299 gem skin with two color variations of Radiant Mecha Leon and Shadow Mecha Leon, which each of these will also cost an additional 299 gems. For his attack, he throws these really cool looking throwing stars, and I love that the no signal image pops up on his enemies when he gets a kill. It's actually pretty funny. For his super, he has this cool glitch effect that actually looks pretty cool, kind of trails him around, makes him look all mecha glitchy. And this is his winning animation. And here's his losing animation. Next, we have some random skins, starting off with Poop Spike. Did anyone here ask for a Poop Spike? No? I didn't think so. Anyway, this is a mythic skin, so you'll be spending a whole 199 gems for this little piece of poop. And for his attacks, you guessed it, he fires poop at his enemies. And to make things worse, I don't know, there's a little rainbow trailing behind the poop to make you happy about there being poop on the screen. And it leaves a plunger behind. Nice. Okay. Yeah, for a super, he throws a toilet full of poop at his, and I can't believe this. I just imagine the smell of a super. The rainbows don't make it any nicer. I'm telling you, this is a nasty skin. Here is his spinning animation. Oh. And here's his losing animation. Just gross. Baby Shark is going to cost 149 gems. I'm so sorry, but my 5-year-old made me. Are these skins specifically made for her? I don't know. Anyway, whatever. For his attacks, he punches with shark punches or something like that. Honestly, if it weren't Baby Shark, I would actually say that the punches look pretty cool. Now, his super is fairly normal, except it leaves behind some coral and stuff on the ground after he lands. And this is his winning animation. And here is his losing animation. Squeaky Note is a rare skin that will cost 29 gems. He doesn't have any different animations or anything like that, but at least you can afford to buy him. Next, we have Red Pitcher Fang and Blue Pitcher Fang that are both epic skins and will cost 149 gems. You can choose to buy one or the other, or both, or neither if you would like. Instead of kicking his shoes like normal, Pitcher Fang obviously throws baseballs at his enemies, but they're flaming, which is actually a pretty nice touch. Don't worry though, his super is still a big super kick. Now this is his winning animation. And this is his losing animation. Talk about sneak peeks. My word, that was a ton, and we haven't even covered the two new brawlers, Angelo and Melody, yet. Subscribe so you do not miss their sneak peek, and we will see you in the next video.